but she's somebody else in the making. First, she just gotta stop all the faking, and she'll be there.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. Different setup today. My son is taking over my bedroom, so we are in a different location. So today's is going to be a little bit more of a story time-ish, a little more vulnerability, a little transparency, and maybe we can both learn something from this video. That's always the goal anyway. Take what you need and leave the rest. Let's talk about the time that my inner child tried to parent for me.
Oh wow.
So this was a while ago whenever this situation occurred, and basically one of my kids had some discipline-ish going on, and it made for a rather difficult time in the parenting department. This specific set of events basically triggered a lot of the hurt, frustration, anger, sadness, disappointment, and jealousy emotions that my childhood self has endured. As a parent, I have always tried to parent from a place of love, compassion, understanding. I just want to give them the benefit of the doubt at all times. And because I allow my kids, all of them, to express themselves, have opinions, be free-spirited, sometimes we can teeter on a line, you know what I'm saying? And this particular time period, this child of mine was kind of testing the waters, I'll say, and trying to see what they could get away with, what lines we could cross. You know, that saying where like you give them an inch, they take a mile. That's the vibe that we had going on at this time. And for me, going into this sector of parenting, I was just kind of like, you know, I'm gonna take a step back, but not because I don't want to oversee what's happening. I'm trying to see how much control I can give or let go, however that needs to be worded, and see where they take it. You know what I'm saying? Where are they going to go with this amount of freedom that they're receiving, and are they going to respect the boundaries that were clearly laid out?
No.
Obviously, we didn't do that. So because of that situation, it triggered so much unhealed trauma from my younger self. It was horrible. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was horrible. And when I say that this period of time took so much work from my husband and my ex coming together to walk me through this, it was the most collaborative co-parenting and parenting moment that we've all ever had. And I will forever be grateful for all of them for that moment, because I had to truly take a step back. It wasn't like my kid was doing something like god awful in terms of an overallness of how children behave. It was just the boundaries that I had set and we had set as a parenting unit were crossed. And so for me, I was like, it was immediate. Understanding went out the window, compassion went out the window, kindness went out the window. I think a big part of my inner child was jealous of the freedom that was given to my child and how they abused that freedom. And so it took so much therapy. It took so much therapy and so much work to kind of get me back to a place of like not being frustrated every single time I spoke to this child, because I'm so triggered at this moment. Like I'm so frustrated, and I felt like I have always given my children a safe space, which I never had as a child. I've always given them freedom to express themselves, which I was never given. I give them a lot more freedom than what I was given. And I feel like because I've given so much, you know, you give and give and give, my cup was so empty. And a lot of that is because I wasn't taking the time for myself. I wasn't taking care of me first before taking care of others. You know, you got to put the mask on your own face and then put it on your children. And I was just straight giving them my oxygen, and I was out here suffering. And so I know that at the time that this happened, I was already on E. You know what I'm saying? I was already running low on energy, on it all. And it was just kind of like a piling on of multiple things that happened. And I did not discipline immediately from a place of where I've always parented. It was this back and forth between mom Brandy and inner child Brandy, and they were not seeing eye to eye, because mom Brandy is like, well, we have to protect this baby we made, and inner child Brandy was like, I will fight this kid. And I'm like, whoa, we can't do that. We gotta, let's figure this out together. I wanted to tell this story because I wanted to touch on why it is so important to heal any sort of childhood trauma that you have, because it can resurface in so many ways, and you'll never know when, you'll never know why, you'll never know how if you don't do the work. If you know that you've experienced childhood trauma, you got to tackle that before having children. And I did not do the work that was required prior to bringing kids into this world. And now that my children are getting older, I've learned that a lot of my childhood trauma was at the ages that they are right now. And so I'm like, I need to unpack this so I'm not projecting, you know what I'm saying? So I can still parent them from the same place of love and compassion and kindness and caring and understanding, and not parent them like I'm 16. Like, why would you do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know why they did that, because they're a kid and they're gonna push boundaries. Brandy, adult Brandy knows that. 16-year-old Brandy is pissed. Like, so your mama gave you this and you did what? Like, she's ready to fight all the time. I wanted to give some of the tips that I used, and maybe you can take them and use them if you've experienced similar situations. And of course, I'm not going to go into my trauma because that's a lot. But if you've experienced any kind of childhood trauma, these are some of the steps that I took to work on healing that version of myself. The first one is, of course, acknowledgement. Acknowledging your childhood trauma in general. For me, it mostly just involved recognizing what my childhood traumas were and not pretending as if they didn't happen. I am really good at compartmentalizing, especially things that have made me upset, and I just push it down and pretend like it never happened, and I'm just gonna keep on moving to the next thing. So really sitting with myself and acknowledging these specific things traumatized me, these things hurt, these things made me feel like this. And second, listening to what my inner child is trying to say. Like, why was she so hurt? Why was my first response to my kid acting out a jealousy feeling, and not me feeling concerned that my child is acting this way? So that would have been the adult version of me. Like, what's going on here? Because we've provided all these things and we've set rules and we have boundaries and we've done X, Y, and Z. Why did I instantly feel jealous? Like, what was that? And a lot of that was because I did not receive the amount of freedoms that my kids did. So then I had to tap into, why is that? Why wasn't I able to do the things that they were able to do? And why is current day Brandy giving them so many freedoms? It's because I wasn't given those freedoms as a kid. I didn't get to experience a lot of the life that my children have. Hell, most of the life that my children have today. And I mean, that's what we worked for. That's why I fight so hard, and that's why I go so hard for them, is so that they can have all the things that I never received. Another thing that I did, which I feel like really, really helped, was I wrote a letter to myself and basically comforting me, telling inner child me that it's gonna be okay, that we make it through this, giving myself permission to be angry about certain things and be sad about certain things, not blaming myself for things that happened to or around me as a kid, because it wasn't my fault, and really having a proper understanding of what that looks like. I tried meditation for a while, but I found that meditation is not really my forte. I prefer to just pray, and I think that that works best for me. So if meditation is a thing that works for you, you can use that meditation time to tap into your inner child. The last thing that I feel like I really want to work more on, and what I kind of got away from last year, is bringing back the joys of my childhood. So things that I thoroughly did enjoy and fun times that I had, just redoing those moments and experiencing those same joys as a kid, but doing it now as an adult. Which is why I love ice cream dates. I love karaoke nights, because I did all that stuff as a kid. My mom was really big on certain things, and she made sure to make special memories with us despite the crap going on in our lives. And of course, the last thing is talk to a therapist. Talk to a therapist, get into therapy, take care of yourself. That basically sums up today's video. I hope it was insightful, helpful. Hopefully you took something away from this, and yeah, that is it. That is all. Thank you guys so much for watching, of course, and I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.
That's where she'll go.